guys, this is Lucas with Stokie Weather, continuing our severe weather awareness series. I got a question for you. Did you realize that flooding is probably the most dangerous form of weather that we will deal with on a yearly basis? Your car can actually be swept away by as little as 6 inches of moving water. I know that kind of sounds a little bit crazy, but if you pull up on a roadway that's flooded and it's dark, you can't really gauge how much water is actually there. 6 inches worth of water can actually sweep your car up off the ground and sweep it down in the flooding. People don't realize that. They don't realize how dangerous flooding truly is. They don't realize that flooding causes an average of $5 billion a year in damage across the United States. People always think about tornadoes and hurricanes and other forms of severe weather as the damage-producing storms. But flooding actually produces a whole lot more over the whole year than those combined. $5 billion a year in damage from flooding alone. And what some people don't even realize is that if you have homeowners insurance for your home and you're affected by a flood, your homeowners insurance doesn't cover the flood. Flood insurance is something completely different that you have to get through the federal government. It doesn't come with your homeowner's insurance. So you want to find out if you actually live in a flood-prone area. And if you do, you want to make sure that you've done the right things to prepare and purchase that insurance. Because if you don't, and you are affected by a flood, you could just become one of those people in that statistic that has $5 billion worth of damage in a calendar year. And there's not a region in the United States that's safe from flooding. Everywhere can experience a flood at any given moment. Any given storm can produce flooding across the region. There's not a single place in the U.S. that is safe from that. And here, another thing is, if you're driving at night and you approach a flooded roadway, you don't know what's underneath that water. Sometimes the roadway can actually get washed out underneath the water, and you could drive into a massive hole. And that would not be good. The whole big statement that we make all the time, and I know it sounds cliche, is turn around, don't drown, but when we say that, we're actually meaning it. Because if you drive through a flooded roadway, your car could get swept away, or you could be driving into a road that doesn't exist anymore. And if that happens, you can easily drown. So when you hear a meteorologist or someone say, turn around, don't drown, we're not saying that just because it sounds cool. We're not saying that because it's catchy. We're saying it because it could save your life. No place is safe. There's not a single place that can't be affected by flooding. And like I said, it is the most affecting disaster in the entire United States on a yearly basis. You can look at a map of the United States and almost on a daily basis, somebody in the U.S. is being affected by a flood. Somewhere, somehow. Flooding can be caused by rainstorms, melting of ice and snow, dam breaks, and other things like that. It doesn't have to be just rainfall. Like, tornadoes only happen when there's a tornado. Hurricanes only happen when there's a hurricane. But flooding can happen when there's a hurricane and when there's a tornado. So it's a disaster that can happen anytime, anywhere, at any moment. So you want to make sure that you know the proper things to do when you might encounter a flooded roadway, when you might encounter a flooded home. You want to make sure that you know how to evacuate before the flood takes place. Heed the warnings that come out. I know they can be annoying on your phone when it beeps and it says flash flood warning, but know what to do in the event that you get that warning and all of a sudden the water starts rising. Know what you need to do. Know what floor to get on. Get above ground, get to a higher floor. As that water begins to rise, you're going to make sure you're safe. First and foremost, you want to make sure you're safe, then worry about the damage later. Don't worry about what's happening to your home at first. Wait until after the storm and then evaluate the damage and know what to do after that. If you live in a flood-prone area, make sure that you had the proper insurance for your home, that if you are affected by a flood, that you don't incur those losses. Flooding is one of those disasters that you hear called all the time a sleeping giant. It happens. People don't realize it's going to happen, and they don't realize how bad it really can be. Flooding can be the most impactful disaster you'll ever have in your life. You may never see a tornado, you may never see a hurricane in person, but you will see a flood of some sort at some point in your life. We're going to continue this series of severe weather awareness, trying to keep you prepared as we head into Severe Weather Awareness Week, the first week of March. The statewide tornado drill will be that week. We'll have information on when that's going to be, so you know when to be listening for those sirens to make sure you can hear them where you are. Make sure your weather radio is ready for in the event of severe weather, because we are rapidly approaching severe weather season here in southern Kentucky. When they do that tornado drill, I want you to practice. I want you to get into your safe space when that happens, just so you know where you're going. We want to thank you for watching. Like this video down below, share it with your friends, and subscribe on our YouTube channel if you're watching there. We want to thank you for watching and have a great day.